There I stood, boots sinking into the mud at the edge of what was once a mighty dam, now a raging torrent tearing through the glittering new homes that the Stone Creek Homeowners Association had illegally built on my land. Freeze frame. That's me, Elias Thorne, the man who watched a flood erase an entire suburban empire. You're probably wondering how I ended up here, why no one could stock the water, and what drove me to let it all happen. It started with a betrayal, a theft of what my grandfather left me, and a war I didn't start, but was damn sure going to finish. When my grandfather, Amos Thorne, passed, he left me more than land. He left me a legacy. A sprawling stretch of wild country, fields wide enough to breathe in, woods thick enough to swallow your secrets, and at its heart, a dam he built with his own hands after surviving a flood that nearly drowned this valley. That dam wasn't just stone and earth, it was a monument to grit, a fortress against nature's wrath, and it was signed over to me in a will as clear as mountain water. For years, I lived quietly, working in town, spending weekends mending fences, walking the dam's crest, watching the seasons paint the hills. Peace, I thought, was mine. Then came the letter. Crisp white, gold embossed with the logo of the Stone Creek HOA. I wasn't part of any HOA. My land was outside the town limits, grandfathered in with zoning from decades past. Yet the letter claimed my property was now under their community review, thanks to new county maps slipped through during a shady municipal vote. Curiosity turned to fury when I stormed into the next town meeting and saw a slick-haired developer presenting colorful maps. My land had been swallowed into their Stone Creek expansion like it was never mine. That's when I met Miranda Hale, HOA president, professional liar, a smile sharp enough to bleed you dry. She played dumb, said it was just a survey correction. I left with dread curling in my gut. What followed was an invasion. Surveyors trumped through my fields like they owned the place. Neon stakes stabbed into the ground, bulldozers tearing through pastures where Amos taught me to ride. Then came the foundations, 58 luxury craftsman homes jammed into grids like they'd always been there. I fought back with a lawyer, Tom Carver, good man, but even he flinched at the names on those documents. County clerks ducked my calls. Complaints disappeared. Miranda's board nodded like puppets. They called me a crank, some stubborn holdout clinging to dusty deeds. At one meeting, Miranda, all crocodile sympathy, suggested I take their generous buyout before progress rolled over me. I stood and swore in front of the whole room I'd never sell what my family built. The silence that followed was thick with spite. That's when things got dirty. Violation notices started piling up on my truck, fines for code breaches I didn't commit. One morning I found a sign in my yard, said my own land was now development zone, no trespassing. I called the sheriff. He shrugged. Civil matter. Every door I knocked on closed in my face, until one brave clerk at the county recorder's office tipped me off. The HOA was funneling cash into council campaigns, securing zoning favors, inspection waivers, filing fake land claims through backroom deals. I was outgunned and outvoted. So I did what Amos would have done. I stopped fighting loud. I played it quiet. I stopped going to meetings. I let the stakes stay in the ground. I nodded politely when Miranda waved at me from her SUV. While they celebrated, selling homes like hotcakes, I documented everything. Every violation, every bulldozed tree, every backdoor zoning deal. I recorded conversations, saved letters, dug up public records. In Amos's old workshop beneath the dam, I built a wall of proof. They thought I was broken. They didn't know the land doesn't forget, and neither do I. That dam wasn't just old stone. It was a history book. 80 years ago, this valley was nearly washed off the map by a storm. Amos, then just a kid, helped sandbag the town. When it was over, he swore he'd never let it happen again. He built that dam by hand, no degree, no budget, just pure will. But Miranda didn't care. Her HOA saw the dam as an eyesore, something to bulldoze for cul-de-sacs and water features. They paved over drainage channels, rerouted creeks, ignored everything that held this place together. One day I watched from the tree line as a backhoe gouged the shoulder of the dam. Not deep, but enough. I wanted to scream, to chain myself to it, but instead I did nothing. I stopped patching cracks, stopped clearing debris. I let the dam sit, let nature reclaim what it owned. The fall rains came early. I sipped coffee on the porch, watching puddles form in their flawless lawns. Winter came soggy. Spring followed with a growl. I walked the dam's edge each week. Cracks spread, soil slumped. No one noticed. Miranda? She threw barbecue parties, bragged about new buyers, planted roses in her $2 million dream home. And I waited. The rainy season hit like a war drum. First storm rolled in slow, a warning. Sinkholes opened in half-paved driveways, basements flooded. Miranda blamed unseasonable weather, ordered more sandbags, fined homeowners for pooling water. The second storm? That was nature's final verdict. The dam groaned before sunrise. A leak opened the size of a dinner plate, then another. I stood on the ridge, rain in my face, thermos in my hand, and watched the mountain take back what it was owed. The dam didn't explode. It crumbled, gently, cruelly. Water roared through the breach, unstoppable. It ripped trees from roots, fences from concrete. It erased Stone Creek. Houses vanished, roads disappeared. Miranda's mansion stood like a last soldier, then cracked, split, and slid into the torrent. She was still on the porch yelling into her phone when the lawn lifted and turned to river. Her screams vanished beneath the roar. Emergency crews showed up too late. Sirens wailed, helicopters circled, but nothing stopped the flood. I didn't cause it, I just stopped saving them from it. Legally, I was clean. I'd filed warnings, sent notarized letters, called inspectors. All ignored. Insurance called it an act of God. Lawyers called it negligence. Miranda sued the county, sued me, sued the sky. Nothing stuck. Investigations uncovered bribes, fake permits, missing inspections. Her whole empire gone. Neighbors turned on her. Banks pulled loans. Buyers walked. Her name became a curse. I quietly filed for adverse possession. No one showed up to fight me. Not one person. A year later, I rebuilt the dam. With my own hands, with help from old-timers who remembered Amos. We didn't pour concrete. We stacked stones, carved channels. We made it right. The land came back. Deer returned. Creeks ran clean. And on a crisp October morning, I planted a cedar post at the highway. The sign reads, "Welcome to Thorns Hollow. We respect the land." And below it, in smaller letters, "Built by nature, guarded by memory." Now I sit on the dam at dawn, coffee warm, air cold. The scars are still there, a warped manhole, a tilted fence post, but they're healing, slowly, patiently. And so am I.